Welcome to In a World with Real Media. I'm your host, Brad Burrow. In this podcast, we'll dive into the lives of the most successful people in business. We'll learn how they overcame adversity, took advantage of opportunities, and learned from their experiences. Learn from our experts, get inspired, then go live your story. It's In a World with Real Media. Hello and welcome to the In a World with Real Media podcast. I'm Brad Burrow, and my special guests today are from a company in Baldwin, Missouri, or Kansas, I should say, Jawbats. And I've been following you guys for a long time. I mean, your Instagram videos are, pretty addictive, by the way. Jacob Walters is the founder, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Austin Williams is, I'm not exactly sure. Are you the kind of the operations guy?
Yep, more the operations, manufacturing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's just start from the beginning. I'm really interested, Jacob. Why start a bat company?
You know, it was one of those things where, I was very passionate about baseball, of course, and then also woodworking. Woodworking was big in my family, very artistic family as well. I had no skills, so I was like, man, I don't know where my artistic side fits in this family, and got into wood turning at a really young age, about 14, 15, and figured, hey, why not try to make a bat and, swing it? And they were pretty terrible for a long time. But one of those things where you just obsess over and, just try to get better. And I think fortunately I was very self-aware that they weren't very good. And but yeah, it's just obsession. So just kept making them for friends and myself, and finally kind of figured it out over the years. But
so when you say they weren't very good, what did you mean by that? I mean,
it's a tough thing to do. So, it's just getting the weight distribution correct and the flow of the bat, and figuring out colors and the correct finish, and all the things that go into manufacturing any product.
The type of wood too.
Type of wood, yeah. So fortunately, I think I figured out the wood fairly early. It's very expensive, of course, but it's just one of those things where I had a high expectation for myself and standard, and if that wasn't met, then I wanted to get better. So I think that helped me tremendously.
So weight distribution, that's got to be a big deal. I mean, every hitter's different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm assuming you're building the bats for hitters. A lot of the stuff that I see, like this stuff is just cool looking.
Uh-huh.
So are people actually using those in games and that?
Yeah, we have even crazier ones that guys swing now in games. It's for us, it was always, we wanted it to look cool as well as, performance and feel was always number one, but you want to look good and have a cool product. So like our most popular bat now is a pink and blue bat. So when Austin and I were playing, that you probably couldn't get away with pink and blue, but now I think it's more acceptable, and the game's getting less traditional, which I think is good.
Yeah.
But,
got the Savannah bananas.
Oh, yeah.
Are you doing bats for them?
We did,
like
yeah.
You had...
Mm-hmm. We did a banana bat for them, and so those are fun.
Yeah, that's cool. So you had this woodworking background, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and decided to one day make a bat, and it just kind of took off from there.
Yep. Yeah. My family's always, my dad can, rebuild a car or build a house or whatever it may be, and for me, I didn't have a lot of patience, so I got into wood turning. I think the joke in the wood turning or the woodworkers community is wood turners are woodworkers with no patience. So, that just kind of seemed to be my thing, and it was different from what everybody else was doing in the family. So, it just, you carve out your niche.
Boy, I am obsessed with the wood turning videos, though. It's fun to watch, what people do, and
very satisfying.
Yeah, pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Your videos are legendary, man.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate
pretty
that.
Cool stuff. Seeing how the bats come together and stuff. So tell me a little bit about, and Austin, you can jump in here too. I really want to hear about your baseball background. That obviously we're a baseball family, so we're really interested in that, and we've done a lot of work with the Royals and Reds and Mets and all kinds of stuff here. So I'm really interested in kind of your background. You went to Neosho?
I did, yep. So
where'd you play college or high school?
So I went to Shawnee Mission Northwest, grew up in Overland Park area. Actually, my grandma lived not too far from here. So
Oh, is that right?
It's a very sentimental area for me. But
Yeah.
So played at Shawnee Mission Northwest, went off to Neosho, played there for 2 years. Played with an awesome group of guys, lucked out big time. Went to the World Series both years. I didn't do anything, but got to watch them and going into my sophomore years when I started the company. So I stopped playing after those 2 years and went after the company,
So you
time to
probably
make
could have
money.
went and played D1 or D2 if you wanted to, right?
I don't think so. My career didn't go the exact way I wanted. I was more athletic and fast, and I, for some reason, decided to become a pitcher only and had no business on the mound. I was 150 pounds with no legs and no butt, so couldn't throw very hard. My shoulder was done. And I just didn't work hard enough at hitting. I should have, but you always look back and think you could have done more. So I think that was my route for sure.
Yeah. Now, Austin, tell me about your role with the company, and then I want to hear about your background in baseball as well.
So kind of my role with JAW is to basically up our ante with the manufacturing piece, make sure we're ready to take the next steps that are necessary for what we have plans in the future. Hopefully working with MLB guys, expanding the company and just helping Jacob grow the foundation that he has started with JAW Bats.
Yeah. I want to hear more about that too, by the way.
So, I guess how I met Jacob was actually through baseball. It would have been 2008 or 2009. We both played for the Johnson County Hornets. Now between the lines here for Bob Jones. Did a summer there. And then I'm 2 years older.
Yeah.
2 years older. So we didn't compete against each other. I went to Fort Scott after that.
Yeah.
From 2009, 2011. Then after Fort Scott, went to Eastern Michigan.
That's
for 2
D1,
years.
right?
Yep. In the
Yep.
MAC conference. Yep.
Yeah.
So
It's pretty
great time. Great time. So
What'd you guys do this time of year? Hard to play baseball in Eastern Michigan.
Yeah.
this time of year.
So
Just tough it out.
Yeah.
you just wear the cold weather basically. Try to keep the snow off the turf field and practice. And we had a bubble as well that we would get a practice in.
Did you do road trips south every year?
Yeah, road trips south every year. Basically start in like the Carolinas or Arizona, that sort of thing. So the travel for a northern school to start the year gets pretty daunting in a way, and it makes school very challenging at times, just being gone consistently. But I think with more and more teams having turf now, that has really helped with being able to stay a little closer to home and do a little bit less traveling, which is nice for the kids at times. So it was the funnest thing is always playing as a mid-major Division I, playing at the big schools, all your Power 5 schools.
Yeah.
So
seeing some legit talent on some of those teams, aren't you?
Definitely. So we got to play Arizona. When they won the Carlswood Series, we went out to Arizona and Tucson and played a series there and got waxed pretty good. But
Did you?
Those games are awesome
Still
for
fun.
mid-major. Still fun. You have nothing to lose, So all the pressure's on those Power 5 teams.
Now, what position did you play?
Played mostly third base.
Okay.
Yep. So kind of a little bit all around. Played a little shortstop, little second base, third base, pitched just a touch.
Can you guys tell, like, especially from a hitting standpoint, when a bat is set up correctly?
Oh, yeah.
Like if you like weight distribution now, I mean, you probably can just pick it up and know, right?
Yeah. Like when we talk about this all the time, when we were kids, there just wasn't a ton of options out there or good options. And it's like, man, these bats always feel so heavy or feel terrible. And a lot of times they were, drop ones instead of drop threes. And the model spec wasn't great. And so that was kind of a driving factor when I started making bats. I just wanted to make something that felt and performed better.
Yeah.
But we talk about it all the time, just, the feel of certain bats are just not good.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. So, Jacob, I wanted to talk a little bit about your personal drive. I mean, not too many guys coming out of college say, hey, I'm going to start a business.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy, is it?
Yeah, I think maybe I was too young and dumb to know otherwise,
Didn't know what you're getting into.
Still young and dumb, but I think that's the thing is you just need to start doing something. I think a lot of people get so caught up in the business plan and trying to figure out what they want to do, and I was very fortunate to already know what I loved and wanted to do. And, if it wasn't a business, I was still going to do it. It's just, fortunately I had an entrepreneurial mindset and wanted to, create something that I could work for myself for.
Yeah. So you just basically started from nothing, and
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
so tell me about that process. I mean, social media was probably around there, a lot different than it is now, probably. But
Yeah.
I mean, starting, how did you build it?
Yeah, it was social media. That was all I had. I grew up middle class. Maybe upper middle class. My dad, construction foreman, plumber. My mom worked for a wastewater treatment facility in Smith and Lovelace. So we always had money. We never needed, or had to go without. So I was very fortunate, and they were very supportive. But I'm also the kid that doesn't like to borrow when I don't need to,
Yeah.
So I would just buy billets when I could and sell them and, use that money to buy more. And, I became very good at being frugal with the money. And it was all about wanting to make the bat. It wasn't about making money, and
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in do what you love and money follows. And I think I was fortunate enough to get in that position. But, that builds a lot of character too, I think, when you're strapped for cash 1 year or 1 month and you have to do what you can to get by.
Yeah.
But, so
Not easy being an entrepreneur, is it?
that's for sure.
Yeah, a lot of battles.
Yeah.
Where did the name come from, Jaw Bats?
It's my initials. It's kind of one of
Okay.
those days in the dorm when you're just brainstorming and going through fonts, and you kind of don't remember the evolution of the name or the logo, but just one day it's there. So
Did you come up with the logo?
kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
So initially we had the J and the W, and
Yeah.
then we had a lowercase a in between the J and the W. And one of my customers who played for the Blue Jays, he said, "Why don't you just put a line through the J and W?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, that's perfect." So
Yeah.
a lot of people don't see it, like JW bats. It's like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's awesome.
yeah.
So basically you started it and it's kind of been building. I mean, you guys have been around for
Yeah, over
10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a success story in itself.
Yeah. Yeah, we grew up very slow, like I said, young and dumb, so I didn't know what I was doing. But I'm very fortunate that we grew it slow that way. I think I avoided many mistakes and just tried to do it by myself for way too long. And very fortunate to have Austin with me and
Yeah.
the last year. But yeah, just social media was big for us. It started on Twitter in college, kind of before Instagram was big. We do giveaways all the time to build followers, and then Instagram became a huge platform for us.
Yeah.
With the visuals, and then TikTok too is huge for us. So,
Yeah, TikTok is kind of taking over. It
Oh, yeah.
feels like, at least for the younger audiences,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's we kind of cheat. It's very visual, so it's easy for us. But
Yeah.
but you still have to be very especially now. It's very difficult now to be consistent and put out good product and content.
So talk to me. I mean, you guys do some really creative things with bats. I mean, I've seen lots of the different ones, splattering paint,
Oh, yeah.
using, torches to do the lines and stuff. That's really cool. I mean, how are you coming up with the creative side?
Either between Austin and I, or most of the time it's our customers. They'll be like, "Hey, can you make this for us?" And it's like, "Well, I give it a shot."
Yeah.
And then end up being one of our hot sellers. So like
Yeah.
our cotton candy bat, which is our hottest seller right now, that was designed by like an 11-year-old.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What is the cotton candy bat? Tell me what that is.
So it's hot pink fade to aqua blue with pink splatter on the handle.
Oh, okay.
So it's just, loud and very bright and colorful, and it's what guys love now. So
Like, who's using those bats? I mean, who would everybody?
Everybody, anybody from 12, 13, maybe even younger, to high school kids even. So maybe even some college kids.
Yeah.
So
Wood bat tournaments and things
wood bat
like
tournaments,
that, I guess,
yeah.
right?
So thankfully, like most of your good high school baseball now has turned to more of a wood bat tournament situation, whereas in the past has been more of a metal bat
Yeah.
use. So it's been helpful and very cool for us to be able to work with more and more kids and get them a quality piece of wood that they can make their own.
So talk to me a little bit about, on the business side, what are some of the challenges? I mean, a lot of, we've come through the pandemic, supply chain things. I don't know if that's impacting you guys. What are some of the challenges that you've had to overcome?
Yeah, the biggest challenge is just cost of wood. Wood is very expensive, especially at our caliber. So that was an issue. We had a supply chain issue with the wood as well for a while. I think we went, 5 months without getting wood in. Our shelves were just cleared, which was scary. But
How do you make it through that?
you just do. Fortunately, it wasn't a super busy time, and we kind of had enough to get us through. But yeah, there was some sketchy moments there.
Yeah.
And, being a smaller company, we were okay, but I can't imagine being a company that just pumps thousands of bats out a day, So we were very fortunate to get through that. But other than that, it's, all of our product is domestic, so we're pretty fortunate with
So
the supply
nothing
chain.
overseas or anything like that.
Not really.
Where do you get wood for a bat? I mean,
Yeah, I'll kind of let you.
I don't know if you can
Yeah.
divulge.
So most
that
of our
information.
billets come from like upstate New York, Pennsylvania area
Okay.
through distributor, and then we'll start getting some from like the Northern Ontario up in Canada,
Really?
down to as well.
Because that's where the wood
Yeah,
they're
the
getting the wood.
generally like your hard maple and birch comes from kind of the Northeast where they have the hardy winters. Actually, the hardier the winter, from my understanding, the more stress the tree goes under, the harder the wood's going to be, the better the wood's going to be up there. And they
Interesting.
just have a lot more old growth wood up that way versus here, kind of in the Midwest as well. Yeah.
Yeah, you just want very consistent, straight growth, and like you said, those hard winters create very dense wood.
So what does it look like when you get? I mean, do you get it's got to be a certain size, right? Are they
Yeah.
like posts type thing, or what?
So
what does it look
they
like?
come in a cylindrical, so they're 37 inches long, 2.5 inches in diameter.
2 5/8 or so. Yeah.
Depending on who's sending them to us,
Yeah.
has a little bit different measurements.
So they're
but
kind of
very
pre-cut,
similar.
ready to put
Correct.
put on the
Yep. Fortunately,
lathe. Yeah,
we don't have to do all that legwork.
yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And then you have a pretty good idea of what the quality of the wood. I mean, are you like checking moisture and stuff like that, or?
Yeah, so we get it in. We know I believe it's dried to 6%. I think is what it is.
I was wondering if
Yeah.
you had parameters around that.
So it gets in, we unload it, weigh everything, grade everything, number it, sort it away, put it away. And then we have a temperature and humidity controlled room that it goes in. And so we stabilize it hopefully in there. And,
Yeah.
so.
So can you tell by looking at a piece of wood if it's like when you're saying grading it, like you can tell pretty easily if it's good or not?
Yeah. Yeah. So we check for, we want wide, far apart grains. We want super straight grains. And then you can also kind of tell by the color. If maple has this like iridescent look to it, it usually isn't very dense and doesn't turn very well. And you can kind of feel it and see the difference. Yeah.
What do you do with that?
Make display orders, display only orders or
Something that wouldn't be used in an actual hitting situation.
Yeah, it's the bane of our existence. So,
Well, you can figure out how to make money on that.
yeah.
That's maybe those are the ones that you need to do for corporate logos and stuff like
Yeah.
that, huh?
That's what we
Definitely.
do. So
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So the creative designs, you get those a lot from customers that come in. Do you have any? I know you probably do have some influencer type guys, players using your bats. Is there any MLB guys using stuff right now?
yeah, so we're not legally MLB certified yet. We're working to do that for hopefully next year. It's just an expensive process that we've stayed out of.
Can't even imagine.
Yeah, but we've worked with guys in the past, Yasmani Grandal and a few other guys. So that we just try to stay out of it, so we don't get in trouble. We don't want any sanctions to come down on us. So when we
I mean,
do,
would you be sanctioned if they used a bat in a game?
we could
mean-
probably get in pretty deep
Really?
trouble. Yeah, because it's pretty pricey to get up there. We've gotten phone calls in the past saying like, "Hey, we found your bat in our clubhouse." It's like, well, I don't know what to tell you. We're just selling bats to guys.
No kidding.
So we don't want to ruffle feathers. We'd like to work with the MLB someday. So we don't want to piss anybody off.
Wow. Isn't that incredible? I mean, that's just, I don't know. That's
Yeah.
disappointing to me.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating. So
Is it because they have contracts with, the other bat manufacturers, the big bat manufacturers and that type of thing? That
Yeah, I mean, obviously, everything's always a money thing. So it's contracts and sponsorships, and then also you do have to regulate the product. It's it's the single-handedly controls the outcome of the game. A good bat is going to help you perform better, and if we have density laws that we have to abide by. So if we're not abiding by those laws, then we could give a player an advantage over another player, and so I understand the regulatory aspect of that.
Yeah.
So.
Are you guys, is that a place that you want to go? I mean, do you want to go that direction? I mean, that would change the company a lot, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Ego-wise, I think both of us would like to see our stuff on TV. So
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's just we stayed out for so long, so we didn't want to put ourselves in a position where, say things go well for us and we can't keep up with production, and then our name goes to crap. So we've stayed out, and also the fee, the initial fee to get in. If you're paying that much money, you better sell some product.
No kidding.
So that's the big reason why we stayed out. I think we're at a position now where we're ready to force ourselves into expansion that way. And our product's always been ready. Guys want to swing them. We've been around long enough that we have players that are growing up and are now getting drafted and would like to keep swinging our product, and we'd like to be able to take care of them. So that's the issue we see now.
So what is your marketing strategy right now? I'm really interested, in this. I mean, is it college? Is it youth? Mm-hmm. Youth baseball? I mean,
yeah, kind of both. I mean, I kind of let you take that over. You've been doing a lot of the business development marketing now, but
yeah, it kind of starts with just thankfully a lot of our customers. We have really good customer support. A lot of people in our corner, particularly like baseball academies, are a good start getting some good product in kids' hands. And
I saw BC on
BC. Jeremy's been Jacob's number one supporter from the get-go. So
yeah, that's great.
And they're just turned into an awesome place over there at BC, and just like getting the name out, getting a product out.
I heard they just sold, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, which has been huge for them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
very happy.
Yeah, Home Field. That if you haven't checked out Home Field, that facility is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So
Riley actually works there.
Yeah,
oh, perfect.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
So you definitely know all about it.
Yeah, and we know Jamie. What's the pitching coach? That's over there. Used to be at the Royals anyway.
Jamie Bluma.
Bluma, yeah. Bluma. Yeah,
I actually took lessons from Jamie when I was a little tyke. So years
Riley
ago.
has too, yeah.
Yeah. So
we love him.
His thing is like put some ketchup on it, throw the ball hard, so it's pretty
Yeah.
funny. Good personality, dude.
Yeah.
Fun guy. Yeah, but kind of our marketing, I've just been reaching out and just trying to get people to swing our product and send out a few demos here and there. We're not in really a great position to give away a bunch of product. It's obviously always better business model for people to pay for product.
Yes.
But a few demos there, and just setting out some demo days with indoor facilities, baseball facilities, colleges. So I guess for me, the baseball facility is probably the easiest place to start.
Yeah.
I've tried to reach out to a few of the summer leagues and teams I played with in the past. Funding's quite an issue, and they've had to band together as a whole league to purchase lower quality bats, unfortunately. So it's just it's an everyday task to convince them you'll pay the same amount and get a better product. You won't need 40, 60 bats for the summer. You might need 12, a dozen, or 20 will get you through. So the cost is going to end up being about the same, but it's just a daunting task. You almost have to have I think that's where baseball really helps us, being former players, being former athletes.
Yeah.
You just grind it out. You're going to fail. People are going to say no, but you just keep with it, man.
We're pretty used to failing with baseball.
And it's just the way it is. It's just for an opportunity lost is an opportunity gained.
It's really interesting that you say that, because we're Briley and I are talking a lot about this right now, and there's companies like Northwestern Mutual and companies like that really want athletes, because they know that you've been dedicated, you've worked hard, especially college athletes specifically, and they know that you are good with overcoming objections
Right.
and failure, because that's what athletes do, right? That's
Yeah.
how you get better.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. So it takes a certain mentality to do that.
Right.
Right.
Nothing much worse than going 0 for 4, in a day, and then everybody making fun of you. So
Yeah.
it's
Uh-huh.
you build some character that way, and
But you
learn how
come
to-
back the next day and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
let's start all over.
Yeah,
Let's-
may go 0 for 4 again. You
Uh-huh.
never know. So
Yeah.
But yeah, it to me, like the whole like marketing and sales is very similar to hitting
Yeah.
in baseball per se. You go over for the week, and then that next week you might hit 7 bombs.
Yeah.
It's just like something like you don't even know what you did different or what, it just happens that way. So just consistent effort
Yeah.
is kind of my kind of theme, is just staying consistent,
Yeah.
sticking with it, and just trying to build.
Right.
If you do the work, it's going to pay off, eventually.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it. But if you're on this emotional roller coaster, those are the people that really struggle with
Yeah.
sales, because the ups and downs, the ups are high and the downs are
Right.
low.
Yeah, I used to work with a guy early on in the business, and good friend of mine, and he was older, and he's like, "Man, you never get excited about anything." It's like, no need, let's just keep riding. You
Yeah.
know, it's like, because there's going to be a day where I'm going to have a really bad day, and I try not to get too low there too. So
Yeah.
and I think what we've always done a good job of is really staying true to who we are, and that's quality and performance, and also the look. And that's not for everybody. If you're looking for a discount bat, we're just not your people. So
Have you thought about expanding like into other markets? Like, I could see giving a Real Media bat to somebody, something like that, or just as an idea. And I've been to, in the past, I've been to trade shows where we got these little bats that were engraved and stuff like that. I thought was kind of cool. Have you thought about, or you just want to stay in that lane of performance?
Yeah, we actually do a ton of display and corporate bats that we call, or senior display bats. So we like this getting ready here in the next month. We do a ton of high school senior and college senior display bats for gifts for their seniors.
Yeah.
So we do a ton of that stuff. That's really supplemental to our wood supply. We can get rid of some of the crap wood that isn't good enough for game use.
Who would even know?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's been a huge thing for us, especially since our product is pretty.
What are you doing marketing wise with something like that? I mean, it seems like that could be something on your website, or you could generate leads that way.
It definitely, mostly email with coaches.
Yeah.
Probably get on Twitter. Twitter seems to be where the college baseball coaches hang out.
Oh, is
They're
that right?
not terribly involved with Instagram or TikTok
Yeah.
or whatnot. So
We need to do better with Twitter.
yeah, our involvement with Twitter we need to get a better job. And we have an intern that plays at Baker that's really, really helping us out on the Twitter aspect, Taylor. So thank you to him for
Shout out to
filling.
Taylor.
Shout out to Taylor for
Shout out
helping
to
us
Taylor.
there. That's pretty big time for us to. That's a great idea for him to get us kind of restarted on that platform.
Is your website helping in those aspects at all? I mean, have you guys spent time on the website really kind of tweaking? I'm really curious, just from like SEO and that kind of thing.
Yeah, the website we need to. People say it's great, but it drives me nuts. I think there's a lot we could do to fix it and clean it up. And we don't do any SEO marketing. It's a lot of word of mouth and Google, a lot of word of mouth, and then email marketing, and then social media, of course.
Yeah,
But,
right.
It's the big problem with wood bats is the educational side behind it. Is we want our parents or the corporate office to be very comfortable with what they're purchasing, or have an idea of what they're even purchasing.
Yeah.
So I think we could do a better job on our website of being educational.
Yeah, I wonder if there's not to turn this into a marketing session, but I wonder if there are companies out there that could refer clients to you guys, like corporate awards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That would seem like a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, for
If
sure.
you could,
There's
if you
gotta
could make
be.
those contacts.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I've thought about it since knowing you guys were going to come here. It's like, man, I'd love to give away some bats.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we do a realtor group in
Corporate
Woods.
Woods.
They always
So-
do a bunch of bats for their top sellers or top brokers, and Yeah, so that we just need to market better, really. I think we've kind of neglected that. We get so like narrow focused on performance and game use stuff that I think we kind of forget to see what else we can do.
Now, how big is your staff right now?
You're looking at it.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's what I was curious about. So that's one of the challenges, right? I mean, as a small business, I understand that completely.
Right.
It's like you've got to wear so many hats.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think you're prepared for growth? I mean, obviously there's things that would go into that, like do you have enough equipment? Is your facility there sales wise? All the stuff, even start thinking about accounting and
Right.
all those things.
Yeah, so this year is going to be a very interesting year for us. This past year, we just brought on a partner, and that's been a huge help. So we're able to get the resources that we need to really grow. And then bringing Austin on has been, I mean, I wish I would have done it 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know why I tried to do it by myself for so long, and I knew that you couldn't build a business by yourself. I really hamstrung the business for so many years, which is fine. It's all a learning experience.
Right.
But I think we're very excited with what's to come this year. We're trying to expand the shop, get a little more space.
Is that in Baldwin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I think
You
at
think
some
you'll stay
point,
there?
That's the big question this
Yeah.
year is we'd like to get back this way because we
Yeah.
both grew up in this area, and this is where all the people are. And for us, the customers that we do have in Kansas City, it's just we'd like to be more around them.
Do you guys live in Baldwin, or you?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah, both of us do.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been a great town. We love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Baldwin's been very good. That's how I reconnected with Jacob years ago when we lived in Baldwin. They moved to Baldwin. We actually both, ironically, less than a mile from each other in Lawrence and had no idea
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
when we were there. So going to Michigan and coming back, you kind of lose track of some people. And
Right.
I'm not the most involved social media or phone guy, but my wife's like, hey, they're having an open house at Jawbats. Do you know Jacob? I'm like, oh yeah, I played with Jacob. And she's like,
15 years ago.
Yeah, we should go down and see him, and hopped in, and it just kind of would a spark necessarily. We then decided, hey, let's hang out a little bit, went on vacation, and kind of we just slowly grown our friendship, and now kind of partnership in a way here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a small world. It's funny how the world connects you
Yeah.
with certain people again.
Yeah.
So
Tell me a little bit about what do you see for the future? What would you really like to see?
Yeah, I've really next 5 years is to expand, increase our production. We'd like to get to we're about a little over 2,000 bats a year. I'd like to get to 5 to 10 comfortably. I don't want to put ourselves in a position where we're sacrificing quality. And then also MLB certified, become a respected company there. But just maintain that quality that we're known for, and kind of exclusivity too. I like that idea of being exclusive, and but just a more well-rounded business that takes care of their customers and their people.
5x growth. That's a pretty big goal.
Yeah, I think like I said, just the years before, we've had the ability to grow. I just didn't allow it with not being able to do. I just got stuck making bats all day, every day. Before you know it, it's 5 years have gone by. It's like, man, we're not doing anything new. So I think with the resources we have now, with our partnership, and I think we can really take this thing to new levels.
So tell me your two roles, like Austin, yours, how are you different from Jacob? Because that's honestly the reason I'm asking that question, because as an entrepreneur, we've been in business 25 years, and I've over the years done everything, but it's hard to let go of certain things,
Yeah.
How are you guys doing that?
Yeah, so I do a lot of the manufacturing piece, pulling the billets, running them through the CNC machine, hand sanding, and then we kind of both have our own little quarters in the shop. I do the manufacturing, put it on a cart, Jacob colors, finishes the bats, and then we kind of double team the engraving piece, and kind of have everybody, not a huge staff, so everybody kind of wear certain hats at certain given times. So contacting people, whatnot, email, we kind of all just take marketing that piece on. Jacob's definitely more involved with, say, the social media piece, where I've really I kind of thrive more of an email face-to-face
Yeah.
sort of meeting with. I really like working with the college teams. That's kind of that's just what I enjoy, and the kids at the training facilities here in town too. I just so that's kind of my role there, and kind of we can all sort of do fill in where is needed
Yeah.
at times, but as we grow, I think we'll probably have to get the task and
Train.
more procedural-esque so people have direction
Yeah.
onto what to do. So
Yeah. We're going through that right now at Real Media. We call them standard operating procedures. So we've just put a whole list of things that we're going to, line item out what needs to happen to achieve,
Right.
podcasting or a location shoot or whatever it might be. But that's so that as we grow, we can bring people in and get them on board, with what needs to happen pretty quickly. So that's part of the the growth aspect of things. And yeah, I mean, sounds like you need to be out on the road probably a lot more than turning bats, huh?
Yeah, that's what I've really seen with. It's been so huge bringing him on is the little things he does is what I'm so appreciative of. Is he's so organized. I'm a absolute scatterbrain, like my poor wife, and even poor Austin over here. But he's very organized. He follows up with people. He creates contacts really quickly. He's very consistent, and he's really thrived in the business development side and in player development and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I see him doing more long term, I think. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So years ago, we used to work with a company called Fightin'. I don't know if you remember them.
Yeah.
So we did all their TV spots, and
Sweet.
but we would go down. So I did TV spots with Josh Beckett, and we were, did a whole bunch of stuff like that. The Reds, but the Fightin' guys from California, but they would go down to spring training, and they would spend 6 weeks traveling to every team in Florida, and then they'd go to Arizona and do the same thing in spring training, but getting the guys to wear their necklaces.
I've had a few of those.
Yeah, it really did work pretty good.
Yeah.
I've worn them too, but just thinking about, you get to the MLB level, and it's like you're gonna have to have a team traveling around. Just hey, check out the new bat. Check this out. That kind of thing. That's a whole different level of business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not a bad day when you get to go to Florida or Arizona in February.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely a role I see him doing. He's very personal to those guys, and I'd love to join him too if we could. And it's the exciting time. I've become obsessed with not only owning the business, but also learning how to manage people and creating an environment where they want to work for you. Obviously it's a very fun job, but that only goes so far if you're not taking care of people. So yeah, it's been very difficult for me to let go of stuff. I did it a certain way for so long, and at first I'd be like, "Oh, don't pull the tape off that way." It's like, well, it doesn't freaking matter how you pull the tape off as long as you get it done right.
Yeah.
So I still struggle with letting go of some stuff. There's days where I'm sure I should just be hands off and let other people take care of it, and but I'm getting better. I think we'll see.
Austin, are you having to train him in that area?
Yeah.
No, not really. I think I'm pretty understanding.
Yeah.
In a way, I mean, his name's on the bat, so what Jacob wants is kind of what goes.
Yeah.
And we can make adjustments here and there, and just being real.
Yeah.
That's being truthful with people and just being real with each other.
Yeah.
We're friends, but we have good days and bad days too.
Yeah.
You can get frustrated with each other. So, there's going to be challenges, and it's just how you overcome that is what defines you. And I know that about Jacob, and we all have our strengths and weaknesses, and it's how do we gather those strengths and weaknesses for the better off of the team. So that's kind of the way I look at it. So
your baseball background's coming in there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta. It's for the team. It's the betterment of the entire. It's not just about me anymore.
Yeah.
So, and I think we had a good conversation initially of how we should have gone, how we should go about this. It's always tough when you hire one of your best friends. So
Yeah.
I think we have a good appreciation for each other and respect enough to know that, yes, we are friends first. That's more important than, the business side. And two, we lift every morning, so we get get our anger out in the lift in the morning, so it makes
Yeah.
the day better. But yeah, so
If you could give anybody advice that's maybe thinking about starting a business, what would you say to them?
for me, my situation, I say just start doing something. I could only learn just doing it. I don't learn in the classroom. I never had a business plan. I had to make a business plan to get a loan from Machine, but at that
Yeah.
point, they just want to see a few things on a paper. But
Yeah.
for me, it was just start doing something. Get in the field and start learning. If it's to go work for somebody for free in the industry that you want to start a company in, do that, or just do what you can to start.
Have you guys talked to the bats.com people?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm. Good
Yep.
friends with them.
Are you? Okay. Do you do some stuff with them?
We've tried.
I mean, I don't know why that wouldn't be a
I know.
great thing for them
Yep.
to do.
They love us. We love them. I think they love us. It's just they're very corporate, which is it's a very big company.
It is.
They've done a great job running
Yeah.
things. We're not MLB certified, so it's a little harder for a company like that to carry our stuff. For a marketing aspect on their end. So yeah, I'm sure there's going to be times where we're going to work together, but we'll see.
I mean, they got to be one of the biggest distributors in the nation.
They
right
are
here.
Yeah, they are
Yeah, definitely.
the largest online retailer in the country, I think. Yeah.
So that's also something the next 5 years we'll probably expand on, is more of like a retail space. Our niche is obviously the custom
Yeah.
bat. I think we're the only one that I know of that does a customizer with, you get to pick the feel of the bat and we'll give you the selected model, which I think makes it a little bit easier. We haven't had, I think everybody that from my knowledge has loved the product. We do live in the Midwest, so you deal with the Midwest nice. Like
Yeah.
we want feedback if you're not happy with the product.
Yeah.
But from my understanding, I think that's our little niche. But to scale that from a manufacturing side is tough to figure out.
Yeah.
So that's where we need to expand, is more in the retail area, more stock items, and that'll come along with the MLB guys. They won't generally, the MLB regulates colorways and whatnot, so that there'll be more stock bats, which makes production a little bit easier on us.
Yeah.
So that's when I see us getting into more retail spaces with more stock items. So
You can grow too fast.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, we've seen it in the industry for
yeah.
sure.
I mean, you hit an MLB thing, or bats.com decides they want to carry a whole bunch of bats. I mean, now all of a sudden, how do you fulfill those orders? And I mean, that's a whole nother headache.
keeping everybody happy can be quite the challenge.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap it up. But what's the future look like? Tell me what do you see some things coming down the pike that are pretty cool?
Yeah, I think we've got something in the works now for maybe expanding our manufacturing to the Kansas City area. It's very early in that. We don't know. We could be staying in Baldwin. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's one of those things that we try not to talk too much about, but here I am always talking about it. So
It's on your mind. isn't it?
yeah. So that, and then just the expansion. We're bringing on metal bat option. So that'll
really?
be nice. Can't beat them, join them. Grips, our own grips, batting gloves, kind of supplemental things to the brand. I've always been a brand first kind of guy,
Yeah.
and obviously my passion and knowledge is in bats, but I see us being more of a jaw sports than a jaw bats thing. So yeah, let's see where we can take this with other products and that are adjacent to bats, and then from there see what else we can bring in.
Yeah, that's great. Austin, what do you think? Ditto on all that?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, just for me, our focus really is making sure we produce a quality product. That's number one goal. If we can't do it the right way, we're just not going to do it at all.
Yeah.
So that's kind of our philosophy, and just as we grow, just making sure we stick with that.
Yeah.
It's kind of my main focus.
So if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, like let's say, a corporation wanted to do, Cerner bats, for example, how how would they get a hold of you?
It's just info@jobats.com. You'll get either Austin or I or Taylor, and then we can work with you on a design and get something going. And yeah, we love doing those, and they turn out great every time. It's such a good gift. And then also social media, direct messages through Instagram, Twitter, TikTok.
Tell us your handles on all those.
It's just @jobats, just JWBATS.
Okay.
I think on all three. Yeah, and then
And then Austin, if a coach, say a coach of a local program wanted to reach out.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yep, same thing. info@jobats. And then we can filter it to my inbox, my email inbox, and go from there. So that's generally the better way.
Yeah.
Better route to go. Or Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the last thing is, it's in a world with real media. So this is your chance to become a voiceover star.
Okay.
So the key to this is that you have to get really close to the mic and you got to speak with that movie voice, like in a world. So
Yeah. I guess I'll go
if
first.
you do a
Yeah,
good
you
job,
go first.
you might be able to have a secondary career.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
in a world with real media.
In a world.
Okay. In a world with real media.
In a world with real media.
I don't think I was airy enough, but I don't want to retry.
Awesome. That's awesome. All right. So thank you guys for joining us. I
Oh.
really appreciate it. And man, I may have may have an order for you here pretty soon.
Oh,
'cause
wonderful, man.
I want a
Love to
real
do
media
something.
bat so bad. I
Yeah.
can't stand it.
Yeah.
But we might come down and videotape you making it.
Yeah, let's do it.
So we'll shoot it in 8K.
Awesome.
Hey, I'm
All right.
down.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for having us and what you do for businesses in Kansas City. And
Yeah.
we love Kansas City. So it's just, we feel so at home.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. Feel free to subscribe to the podcast. It's going to be on YouTube. It'll be on all the major audio podcast platforms. And stay tuned for the next one. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
This has been In a World with Real Media. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to subscribe on iTunes and follow Real Media on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn so you never miss an episode.